Our planet is a small oasis of life in the vastness of space. The atmosphere acts as a blanket that keeps our planet at a temperature which allows life to survive. The atmosphere and the oceans together have created the ideal conditions for life to evolve and flourish. Life on Earth today consists of many millions of distinct biological species. The term biodiversity is used to describe this amazing variety of life, ranging from microorganisms to mighty whales, along with the habitats they all live in. Biodiversity doesn't just mean rare species, places where there are many species in a small area, big impressive creatures, or species that are important to our economies, like cod. Biodiversity is all living things and the habitats in which they live. Biodiversity also describes the range of differences within a single species. All these things make up the global ecosystem. This ecosystem works to keep the entire planet healthy for human life. For example, rainforests clean the air we breathe and the water we drink. Insects pollinate flowers of plants, which produce our food. All kinds of vegetation prevent our land being eroded into the oceans. Biodiversity is linked to every part of our lives. Although about 80% of our food supply comes from just 20 kinds of plants, humans use at least 40,000 species of those plants. Many people depend on these species for their food, shelter, and clothing. Many drugs and medicines are also derived from biological sources. At least 50% of the pharmaceutical compounds on the US market are found in plants, animals, and microorganisms. About 80% of the world population depends on medicines from nature. Experiments have shown that humans cannot easily build their own ecosystems to support human needs. For example, insect pollination cannot be copied, and this activity alone represents tens of billions of dollars per year in what are called ecosystem services to humankind. Since life began on Earth, 5 major mass extinctions have led to large and sudden drops in the Earth's biodiversity. 350 million years ago, the rainforests collapsed, leading to a massive loss of plant and animal life. 251 million years ago, the worst mass extinction in the planet's history took place. This event devastated life in the sea and on land. It took 30 million years for the animal world to recover. 65 million years ago, the last mass extinction swept the Earth. This event has attracted more attention than all others because it killed all the non-flying dinosaurs. The period since humans appeared has been characterized by a continual reduction in biodiversity. This reduction has been caused by humans, particularly the destruction of plant and animal habitats. Since the Stone Age, species loss has drastically accelerated compared to earlier rates. The exact numbers vary, but it has been estimated that species are now being lost at approximately 100 times as fast as observed in the fossil records. Land is being transformed from wilderness into agricultural, mining, lumbering, and urban areas for humans. About 25% of world fisheries are now overexploited to the point where they are no longer sustainable. In some areas, humans have introduced species that kill and replace local species. At present, several countries have already imported so many exotic species that their own indigenous fauna and flora are greatly outnumbered. Biodiversity is the result of 3.5 billion years of evolution. it is possible that the present rate of extinction will be enough to eliminate most species on our planet within 100 years. It is likely that 1/3 of all natural species will be extinct by 2050. Global warming is also considered to be a major threat to global biodiversity. For example, coral reefs, which are home to many different species in the seas, could be completely gone in 20 to 40 years if global warming continues at the current trend. Coral depends on a form of algae that live inside it for its survival. The algae provide the coral with energy and also the beautiful colors. There are many things that can put the coral under stress. These include a rise in water temperature, increased ultraviolet radiation, and pollution. When the coral is threatened in this way, it expels the algae in a process known as bleaching. Short periods of bleaching can be reversed, but if it is long-term, then the coral dies. The coral provides an important habitat for many creatures, and its disappearance has many serious consequences. An even more serious cause for concern comes from the acidification of the oceans. As with temperature, the seas act as a huge store for excess CO2 in the atmosphere. A rapid increase in CO2 causes the sea to become more acid. This has potentially catastrophic implications not only for coral, but for all marine ecosystems. An analysis of coral reef surveys has revealed that coral cover across reefs in the Caribbean has declined by 80% in just 30 years. With threatened habitats on every continent, conservationists face a difficult task. Biodiversity hotspots have been identified which have a high density of different species. These hotspots cover less than 2% of the Earth's land surface, but contain close to half of all species. Only when the value of protecting natural resources, and in some cases replacing them, is calculated, does their vital role in the global economy become clear. Some roles are obvious. For example, the clean and accessible water that is needed to grow crops to eat, and the fish that provide 1/6 of the protein consumed by the human population. But other roles are less obvious. For example, the mangrove swamps and coral reefs that provide natural barriers against storms that devastate coastal regions, the vast array of plant species that provide pharmaceutical companies with endless genetic resources used for life-saving drugs, and the insects that provide essential pollination for growing around 70% of the world's most productive crops. The disappearance of some species will mean lost opportunities for medicine and agriculture. Some species loss will spell doom for entire communities. 1/5 of the world's plants, the foundation of life on Earth, are at risk of extinction. If we don't look after our environment, humankind will disappear. So the future is in your hands.